നമസ്കാരം. ഞാൻ നിമിഷ ജോർജ്. എല്ലാവർക്കും അസാപ്പ് ഓൺലൈൻ ക്ലാസ്സിലേക്ക് സ്വാഗതം. ഇന്ന് നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്ന ടോപ്പിക് ബികോം സ്റ്റുഡൻസിന്റെ ബിസിനസ് മാനേജ്മെന്റ് സബ്ജക്റ്റിലെ മാനേജ്മെന്റ് നേച്ചർ ആൻഡ് ഫംഗ്ഷൻ എന്ന ഭാഗമാണ്. സോ ഈ ഒരു സെഷനെ കുറിച്ച് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ ഈ ഒരു സെഷൻ 60 മിനിറ്റ്സ് ആണ്. സോ ഫസ്റ്റ് 50 മിനിറ്റ്സ് നമുക്ക് മാം ക്ലാസ് എടുക്കും. അതിനുശേഷം 10 മിനിറ്റ്സ് ഡൗട്ട് ക്ലിയറിംഗ് സെഷൻ ആണ്. ആ ഡൗട്ട്സ് നമ്മൾ ലാസ്റ്റ് 10 മിനിറ്റ്സിന്റെ ഡൗട്ട് ക്ലിയറിംഗ് സെഷനിൽ നമ്മൾ ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണ്. സോ ഈ ഒരു ടോപ്പിക് ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ വേണ്ടി ഇത് നമ്മളോടൊപ്പം ഉള്ളത് എറണാകുളം സെന്റ് തെരേസാസ് കോളേജിലെ അസിസ്റ്റന്റ് പ്രൊഫസറും അതുപോലെ തന്നെ കൊമേഴ്സ് വിഭാഗം HOD-യുമായ ആൻ തോമസ് മാം ആണ്. സോ മാമിനെ കുറിച്ച് പറയുകയാണെങ്കിൽ മാമിന് ഓൾമോസ്റ്റ് 11 ഇയേഴ്സിന്റെ ടീച്ചിങ് എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. അതുപോലെ തന്നെ 2.5 ഇയേഴ്സിന്റെ ഇൻഡസ്ട്രിയൽ എക്സ്പീരിയൻസ് ഉണ്ട്. മാം ഓൾറെഡി ഡിഫറെന്റ് ജേർണൽസിലായിട്ട് 8 റിസർച്ച് പേപ്പേഴ്സ് പബ്ലിഷ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. അതോടൊപ്പം തന്നെ ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ ആൻഡ് നാഷണൽ സെമിനാർസിൽ 9 പേപ്പേഴ്സോളം പ്രസന്റ് ചെയ്തിട്ടുണ്ട്. സോ എനിക്ക് തോന്നുന്നു ഈ ടോപ്പിക് എടുക്കാൻ ഏറ്റവും ആപ്റ്റ് ആയ ഒരാൾ തന്നെയാണ് മാം. സോ മാമിന് ഈ ഒരു ടോപ്പിക്കിലുള്ള ഇൻസൈറ്റും അറിവുകളും നിങ്ങളിലേക്ക് ഈ ഒരു സെഷനിലൂടെ എത്തുമെന്ന് ഞാൻ വിശ്വസിക്കുന്നു. സോ വൺസ് അഗെയിൻ ഐ വെൽക്കം യു ഓൾ ടു ദിസ് ഓൺലൈൻ ക്ലാസ്. ഓവർ ടു യു മാം.
Okay, thank you, Nimisha. Very good morning to one and all. Hope all of you are safe and doing well. And today we are here to discuss the most important topics in the subject, business management, nature and functions of management. So before going into the topics, we should understand what is management. Yes, management is a concept which you can apply even in your daily life. Knowingly and unknowingly, you are using the principles and concept of management. Even in a student's life, you can manage your time during your examinations, you can manage your studies, etc. So it can also be termed as management is universal. എല്ലായിടത്തും മാനേജ്മെന്റ് നമുക്ക് ഉപയോഗിക്കാം. നമ്മുടെ ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ ലൈഫിലും ഈവൻ ബിസിനസ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷനിലും. ബിസിനസ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ ഇറസ്പെക്റ്റീവ് ഓഫ് ദ നേച്ചർ, ദ സൈസ്, whether it's a banking concern, whether it's an insurance company, you can use everywhere. So it is a universal concept which has universal application. എല്ലായിടത്തും ഉപയോഗിക്കുക. ഏത് തന്നെ ഇൻസ്റ്റിറ്റ്യൂഷൻ ആയാലും നിങ്ങളുടെ ഇൻഡിവിജ്വൽ ലൈഫിലും ഉപയോഗിക്കുന്ന ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ആണ് മാനേജ്മെന്റ്. So before understanding the concept better, we can see the famous definition by Kuhn's Herold, a management guru. Management is the art of getting things done through and with the people in a formally organized group. So it says management is an art. That is, management involves application of know-how and also the personal skills. Adoru kalayana. For what? For getting things done through others or people. So management, nalla oru manager endakke thanne techniques um strategies um adopt cheyidalum ആ പീപ്പിളിനെ he will direct the activities of the people and he will get things done by applying any strategy or tactics. Okay, it is done in a formally organized group. So when we talk about management in the subject business management, we are talking about management of business organizations. So business organization is a formally organized group. It's not like an informal group like a family. It's a formally organized group. There are a lot of departments which are formally organized. There are authority, responsibility, positions there happening. So management actually happens in a formally organized group. Here, Kuhn's actually talks about management of business organization. So when we see this definition, it does not touch all the aspects of management. So we are just coming to a comprehensive definition of management. So management is the process of planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling to accomplish organizational objectives through the coordinated use of human and material resources effectively and efficiently in an ever-changing environment. So management is the process. Process means what? It contains the step-by-step activities. What are the step-by-step activities? Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. So this definition talks about the functions of management or managerial functions. Planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. For what he is doing, all these functions, a manager to accomplish the organizational objectives. It's not talking about the personal objectives. Of course, a manager has certain personal objectives, but ultimate goal is the organizational objective. through the coordinated use of human and material resources. So organization has a lot of resources. It is scarce. Okay, so whatever the available resources are, the men, the materials, the machines, the method, he has to use in a coordinated way so that there is effective performance and efficient performance. What do you mean by effectiveness? Effectiveness means it has to complete it within a time frame. ഒരു ടൈമിന്റെ ഉള്ളിൽ അത് കംപ്ലീറ്റ് ചെയ്യണം. പിന്നെ അത് ഗുഡ് റിസൾട്ട്സും ഉണ്ടാക്കണം. എഫിഷ്യൻസി എന്ന് പറഞ്ഞാൽ എന്താണ്? ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ദ ബെസ്റ്റ് വേ ഓഫ് ഡൂയിങ് തിങ്സ്. ഇറ്റ് ഇസ് ദ ബെസ്റ്റ് വേ ഓഫ് ഡൂയിങ് തിങ്സ്. അതുകൊണ്ടാണ് മാനേജർ പ്രൊസീജിയേഴ്സ് എല്ലാം ഉണ്ടാക്കി നമ്മളോട് ദ ബെസ്റ്റ് വേ ഓഫ് ഡൂയിങ് തിങ്സ് അയാൾ പറഞ്ഞു തരും. അപ്പൊ അതുപോലെ എഫിഷ്യന്റ് ആയിട്ട് യൂട്ടിലൈസേഷൻ ഓഫ് അവൈലബിൾ സ്കേഴ്സ് റിസോഴ്സസ് ഇൻ ആൻ എവർ ചേഞ്ചിങ് എൻവയൺമെന്റ്. ദാറ്റ് ഇസ് ബിസിനസ് എൻവയൺമെന്റ് ഇസ് എവർ ചേഞ്ചിങ്. ഇറ്റ്സ് നോട്ട് സ്റ്റാറ്റിക്. അത് ചേഞ്ച് ചെയ്തുകൊണ്ടേയിരിക്കും. ലൈക്ക് ടെക്നോളജി ചേഞ്ചസ്, ഗവൺമെന്റ് പോളിസി ചേഞ്ചസ്, changes in the preferences and tastes of the consumers. So management should be flexible enough to adapt to all the changes. So this is a more comprehensive definition, and we'll understand the concept of management better through this. Now, these are the 5 M's of management. That is, it is like our hand, the fingers in our hand. That is men, material, money, method, and machines. These are the 5 M's of management. Most important is management of men. So all the other M's like money, method, machines, material are useless if men is not managed well. So it is the responsibility of managers to manage all these M's, and most importantly, the difficult task is management of men. ആൾക്കാരെ മാനേജ് ചെയ്യാനാണ് ഏറ്റവും പാട്. അവരെ മാനേജ് ചെയ്ത് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ അവര് മറ്റെല്ലാ എംസിനെയും ആക്ടിവേറ്റ് ചെയ്തോളും. അതനുസരിച്ച് they will ensure production. So that is the relevance of management. So coming to management, the term management, you cut off to the T, what you are going to get? Management. So what is the difficult task in management? Manage men. And if the manager manages the men, then definitely he will activate, or the employees or the labor, the crucial assets, definitely they will actually be managed well. Now going to the nature and characteristics of management. നമ്മളെ പോലെ തന്നെ മാനേജ്മെന്റിനുണ്ട് ചില ക്യാരക്ടറിസ്റ്റിക്സും നേച്ചറും എല്ലാം. അതാണ് നമ്മൾ ഇനി ഡിസ്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പോകുന്നത്. The first point is multidisciplinary. Management is not a subject which is evolved from itself or by itself. It has taken a lot of concepts and inputs from various disciplines and subjects like sociology, psychology, economic, statistics, and so on. Why it is taken the concepts in sociology? Because it is related to society, and manager has to utilize the scarce resources of the society and actually provide something for the welfare of the society. And psychology will stress the motivation factors which the manager manages is actually, it has derived from psychology. Then he is actually using a lot of concepts, the law of demand and all when he managed. Okay, so management actually is a multidisciplinary, and it has evolved from various disciplines. And again, when we just analyze the nature, it is a group activity. Management cannot be done in an isolation. Manager മാത്രം ഉണ്ടായ കാര്യം നടക്കില്ല. എന്തൊക്കെ വേണം ഒരു ഓർഗനൈസേഷനിൽ? There are a lot of teams. There are a lot of departments or functional departments like production department, marketing department. And in each department, production department, there are a lot of people under him. So he is managing that group. He is actually managing the efforts of all those people in the production department so that efficiency and productivity is received. So it is actually a group activity of managing the efforts of all the people under him so that organizational objective is achieved. Now, management is a factor of production. We know the 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and organization. Which is important in this? Actually, labor is important. Managing men is the difficult task. Okay, so actually it cannot ensure production when all other factors of production are present. That is land, then capital, organization. Actually, manager is the person who will be ensuring production by putting all the M's or all the factors of production into action. So management ensures production, and so it is a factor of production. Now coming to social process as a nature of management. It is a social process because management is related to society. As I have already told you, manager has to manage the scarce resources of the organization. If a concern is not managing the scarce resources and not bringing in profits, it's creating losses all the time, then people will tell that you are actually misusing the scarce resources of the society. So it has certain responsibility towards the society, and now corporates are going through CSR activities, corporate social responsibility, and they are actually contributing a part of the profits for social welfare. Okay, so it's a social process, and also it has to consider the employees of the organization not as machines but as resource. So it has to cater to the needs and welfare of the employees as well. Then it is dynamic, it is not static. A manager cannot say that once I make the plan, I will not be able to change it. It has to be flexible. That is, business environment is ever changing. I talked about technological changes, government policy changes, changing the tastes and preferences of the consumers. So depending upon these changes, managers have to forecast the future and predict certain changes or risks and uncertainties, and it has to be flexible enough to adapt and cope up with the changes. Now, it is a profession. Now, managers, when they are appointed, definitely the employees will be asking them whether you have an MBA degree from a reputed business school. So it is a profession because there is the application of specialized body of knowledge or knowledge which can be applied in management. So they have to get MBA degrees from reputed business schools. So it is a profession, and management for managers, it's for their livelihood. Now, next point is intangible force. Can you see management in organization? You can see, of course, managers, but management is an invisible force. But definitely the presence of management can be felt through the results, productivity, the profit, the infrastructure, all those things. So intangible means cannot be seen, but the result actually gives out its presence. Intangible force. Universal application, I have already explained. Management is a concept which can be applied in all the business organizations, non-business organizations, in your house, in office, everywhere. And it is goal-oriented. Management is done not for the personal objective accomplishment, but mainly for the organizational objectives. So all the efforts of all the people should be directed towards the accomplishment of the organizational goals. Now, it is a science as well as an art. What is science? Science is a systematized body of knowledge which has certain universal principles which have been formed after observation and experimentation. So management also has a lot of principles, right? Principles of management, the golden 14 principles by Fayol, and the principles of scientific management by F.W. Taylor. So all these principles they have made by actually experimenting in different types of organization and come out with the principles you apply in any organization, it will bring results. But management, is it a pure science like biology, physics, etc.? No, because it deals with people. There are people with a lot of emotions, and there are certain situational things, and it's a social science rather than a pure science, or you can call it as a soft science or an inexact science. Okay, now it is an art as well. Why? Because it requires practice and personal skill, application of personal skill. Some good managers have an art of getting things done through others. We tell that these managers have that skills to do everything better than any other managers. So it is an art. Sometimes in some organizations, when managers are appointed for the first time, they'll not be knowing about the organization. Okay, but after some time through practice, they will be an expert in managing. They will be knowing everything about the business, about the employees, about the resources and everything, and he gets the techniques. So through practice, it can be acquired. So it is a system of authority. When we hear the term management, we actually feel some power scenario that That is the system of authority. In the sense, authority is actually the power to get things done from others, the power to compel the subordinates to get things done. So management is a rule enforcing and rule making body where everybody under the manager has to follow him. Okay, so it is a system of authority. Now we come to the managerial functions. What are managerial functions? The activities performed by a manager for the achievement of the organizational goals. So these are the 5 important managerial functions. See, planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling. Can you see it's in a circular motion, it's going? Okay. So last one here, first one starts with planning, then organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. After controlling, we cannot say that it is ending, again it's going to planning. So now we come to some of the nature characteristics of managerial functions. The managerial functions are activities performed by managers to accomplish the organizational goals. We have already mentioned, that is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, controlling, and these managerial functions also you can apply everywhere in your life. Also you can actually apply, okay, in all the business organizations, whether it's a banking or insurance, educational institution, that non-business organizations, everywhere you can apply. And definitely managerial functions guide the organizations. And sometimes the scope may vary depending upon the nature of business. Some business organizations focus more on planning, some will be focusing on organizing, some will be giving focus to directing and controlling, like that. The scope may actually vary. And it is circular in motion. That is, after controlling, a manager cannot say that it's done, that is the end of the function. No, it's not like that. Again, finding out the problems after controlling and again planning accordingly, because business is a going concern and all these are in a circular motion. It's not a flow chart that is after controlling it's coming to an end. It's not like that. It's circular in motion. Now we come in detail to all the functions of management or managerial functions. The first comes the planning. Okay, so as we have already mentioned, planning is the first function of management. So it is a primary function of management. It is the first function of management. All other functions may follow. Okay, so it is the foundation on which all other functions are based. If planning is not done accurately, then all other functions are useless. So planning involves the determination of organizational goals, then setting up of objectives, policies, then programs, strategies, then budgets, all those things. Okay, so end result of planning is various types of plans. Plans are the end results of planning. So planning actually determines organizational objectives, and to achieve these organizational objectives, what are alternatives are there in front of us? Manager will be analyzing each and every course of action which can be done for the achievement of organizational goals. So, and some small organizations will not be actually considering like big budget programs. So they will be able to, depending upon your constraints, you can choose, determine the course of action to achieve your organizational goal. So that is the second point in this slide, determination of the course of action for the achievement of organizational goals. There are a lot of ways or alternatives in front of the manager. Manager will be selecting the actions which are beneficial for his type of organization and depending upon the nature of his business and the constraints he has. Next is all the people who are involved in planning has to ask some questions before planning. That is, they have to decide in advance what to do, where it has to be done, who will do it, how it should be done, how the results are achieved. So these are the questions to be asked before planning. So determining or deciding in advance, that is, you have to think before doing. So planning is an activity which actually you use your brain a lot. You have to think before doing. It is looking ahead. So you are making plans for future, for now and for future. So future, how it is uncertain and full of risk. We know that we cannot predict certain things. Now lockdown happened. No business concerns might have actually predicted such a scenario. So some are beyond our predictions. But definitely, managers should focus all these changes, the technological changes, the government policy changes, and also he has to go through what all plans are undertaken by the competitor organizations as well. So he has to be strategic and he will use all techniques to come out with good plans. So think before doing. So it is an intellectual activity. You have to use your brain before actually planning. So and ask lot of questions like what to do, where it has to be done, who will do it, and how the results are achieved. And it is a continuous process. Once you make the plan, you cannot sit എല്ലാം കഴിഞ്ഞു എന്ന് വിചാരിച്ചിരിക്കാൻ പാടില്ല. It is an ongoing process. Even in the next functions, other functions like organizing വരുന്നുണ്ട്, ഇനി staffing, directing, എല്ലായിടത്തും ഈ പ്ലാനിങ്ങിന്റെ ഒരു ആവശ്യമുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ അത് കഴിഞ്ഞു എന്ന് വിചാരിക്കരുത്. It is a continuous process all throughout. That is why it is told that it is a continuous process and it takes place in all levels of management. We have seen the levels of management, basically 3 levels: top level, middle level, then lower level. So in each level, planning is happening. The top level consisting of the board of directors, the CEO, they will be actually making the long-term plans like strategies, setting up of objectives, the policies for the organization, etc. Then middle level consisting of the branch managers, the departmental heads like production manager, then marketing manager, finance manager, ഇവരെല്ലാവരും കൂടെ ആ ലെവലിലുള്ള തീരുമാനങ്ങൾ എടുക്കുന്നു, like preparing the budget for these departments and so on. And the lower level consisting of sales officers, accounts officers, foreman or supervisors at the factory level. അവരെന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു? ഫാക്ടറി ലെവലിലെ ഫോർമാൻ എന്ത് ചെയ്യുന്നു? അവരുടെ എല്ലാ എംപ്ലോയീസ് ഇൻ ഫാക്ടറി അവർക്ക് വേണ്ടിയുള്ള ടാർഗറ്റ്സ് ഓരോ ദിവസം ഇത്ര നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യണം എന്നുള്ള ടാർഗറ്റ്സും സെറ്റ് ചെയ്യും. അതൊക്കെ പ്ലാൻസിൽ വരുന്നതാണ്. അപ്പൊ അതിനെല്ലാം ഇന്റലക്ച്വൽ പ്രോസസ് ആണ്. ഇറ്റ് ഹാസ് ടു ബി തോട്ട് and actually you have to use your brain. And coming to the next slide, it is the determination of objectives as we have already discussed. That it has the forecasting and choice of future course of action. That is, future is uncertain and so we have to predict. So in planning process, if you see, there is a concept called planning premises. Planning premises means future is uncertain, so when we plan as managers, we can make certain assumptions regarding the future. This will happen and so on. And you have to forecast the future changes and make assumptions. If this is the case, what has to be done? And depending upon the future actions, you have to choose the future, the best course of action by forecasting different things which are going to happen. So planning premises means making assumptions about the future by forecasting. Okay, so next element in planning is formulation of policies, programs, budgets, schedules, etc. to achieve the objectives. So it is talking about the types of plans. Okay, policies, guide to action, that is the recruitment policy, transfer policy, promotion policy, etc. has to be made. Then programs in the sense like they have to have a schedule for doing all those things, when to start, when to end. Then budgets, that is quantitative terms they have to actually express in financial terms. Then the production budget, sales budget, cash budget, etc. And they have to make a schedule, a timetable of doing things. So all these are types of plans. Some are short term and some are long term. And laying down the procedures and standards of performance. Procedure means the best way of doing things. So manager will be setting the procedures for the employees to do. So when a new employee is appointed in an organization, okay, he will be given training and all, and the manager might have set out the procedure, the best way of doing things, the step-by-step procedure, the systematic way of doing things, and the employee will be getting some study materials which is given in the procedure or the best way of doing things. Manager might have planned in the planning phase and kept, when he sees the procedures, he can just start follow the procedures. That is, those are the best way of doing things, systematic way of doing things, and it can be done with ease. So it is the duty of the manager to plan things, that is setting up of objective, forecasting the future changes, and actually choosing the best alternative depending upon the internal and external business environment and depending upon the nature of his business. Now coming to the nature of planning. Planning is an intellectual process. I have already mentioned that planning, you have to use your brain. It's thinking before doing. So it's an intellectual process. You have to use judgment. You have to come out with decisions. What kind of plans? For that, you have to use your brain. It has to come from your head. So next is goal oriented. Definitely, when you make plans, what has to be in your front, that the organizational objectives or goals. So goal should direct your plans. You should actually make plans with accomplishment of the organizational goal. And it is the primary function. That means it is the first and foremost function. It is a foundation. If planning is actually useless, then all other functions are useless. It is a primary function, and all other functions depend upon this planning function. And it is directed towards efficiency and economy. That is, all the plans are made for the efficiency. That is the best way of doing things or utilizing the available scarce resources. So budgets will be prepared. Budgets for small organizations, the cost budget and all will be actually a small amount budgets. So depending upon the utilization of available money in an organization, we have to cut the cost. So budget has to be kept to minimum. Otherwise, people, when they try doing their activities, they will actually incur more cost and it will affect the efficiency or productivity. Next is planning is flexible. It is not rigid. Depending upon the future changes like technological changes, government policy changes, a manager has to make his plans flexible. He has to change the plans. In the starting itself, he has to plan and make plan A, plan B, plan C. If plan A does not work, plan B, like that. But sometimes like lockdown, in this case, okay, some future uncertainties may happen. That time, managers actually should be capable enough to cope up with the changes depending upon the changing business environment, internal business environment and external business environment. So planning is not a rigid function. It has to be flexible. It is dynamic and it is all pervasive. Planning can be used everywhere. In your individual life, in organization, that whether it is business organization or non-business organization, it is also used in war, it is used in communities, it is used in religion, everywhere. It is all pervasive. You have to start with a good plan when you do a thing. And it is continuous. So as it is already mentioned, it is a continuous process. There is no end in planning. You plan and plan all the time. You revise your plan if you think that it's not going on well. So depending upon the changes, please do it all the time. It is applicable when you do all the other functions of management. So it is forward looking. That is, plans you are making for the future. So definitely you have to forecast the future changes. You have to predict a lot of things. So it is thinking before doing. It is a future oriented activity. That's why it is known as forward looking, and it involves choice. So we have a lot of options available in front of manager, but manager will be choosing the best possible option which is apt for his business organization. Now we are coming to the next function, which is organizing. So can you see the diagram in the slide? So it talks about the organization structure. So it is a part of organizing function to actually determine the organization structure. First of all, so we made a lot of plans in the first function of planning. Now we have to find out in our business concern what activities we have to undertake for the accomplishment of the organizational objectives. That is process of identifying and grouping the work to be performed. That is really important. For my organization, what are the activities needed for the accomplishment of the organizational objectives? There should be production activities. There should be marketing activities. See the diagram? There can be marketing activities, sales activities, finance activities. So a lot of activities under production. There comes actually the preparation of production schedules, then the management of machines, then the plan layout, the factory layout, that is really important. Then the acquiring the materials, inventory control, and all the activities have been identified. Under marketing, Then we have identified advertising campaign, sales promotion, and everything. Under finance, we have identified and we have to acquire sources of capital. We have to actually have investments, all those things, dividend policies and everything. So we are identifying the activities to be performed for the accomplishment of the organizational objectives. So we are going to identify, and the similar activities we are grouping and putting under one department. The production activities under production department, and the production department is headed by the production manager. And marketing activities, which is actually put under marketing department, and marketing manager is the head. Like that, we are going to identify the group of activities, and we actually put it into departments, and we actually design a lot of positions and duties, assigning duties and activities to specific positions. See here in the organization structure, this is an organization structure which you see in the slide. CEO on top, that is the top level, production manager, then marketing manager, sales manager, middle level. Then underneath there will be, under production and all, there will be lower level foreman, supervisor, and so on, like that. So this is an organization structure. Organization structure means an invisible framework of the business organization, like the skeleton of the human body. Or an architect, before constructing a building, he will be having a plan of the construction. So like that, an organizing manager should have an organization structure in mind, who should be in the top, what all positions on top. Yes, CEO will be there, then board of directors would be there. Who will be in the middle? So production manager, marketing manager, then sales manager, then finance manager, human resource manager, like that. And the lower levels, what are the positions in the lower level, like that. And after that, defining and delegating authority and fixing responsibility. Authority, as I told you, is the system of power which can actually command others or subordinates to get things done. So authority is a package with responsibility. എത്രത്തോളം അതോറിറ്റി നമുക്കുണ്ടോ അത്രത്തോളം റെസ്പോൺസിബിലിറ്റി ആണ് നമുക്കുള്ളത്. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ടോപ്പ് മാനേജ്മെന്റ് ലെവലിൽ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ അവർക്കാണ് കൂടുതൽ അതോറിറ്റി എന്ന് നമ്മൾ വിചാരിക്കും, എന്നാൽ അവർക്കാണ് ഏറ്റവും കൂടുതൽ റെസ്പോൺസിബിലിറ്റി. അപ്പൊ അതോറിറ്റിയുടെ കൂടെ ഒരു പാക്കേജ് ആയിട്ടാണ് നമുക്ക് റെസ്പോൺസിബിലിറ്റിയും വരുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ അതെല്ലാം നമ്മൾ ഡിഫൈൻ ചെയ്യുന്ന ഒരു സമയമാണ് ഓർഗനൈസിങ്. Now establishing relationships for the purpose of enabling people to work most effectively for the achievement of the objectives. It is talking about organization structure. Organization structure എന്ന് വേറൊരു പേരും കൂടെ ഉണ്ട്, ഓർഗനോഗ്രാം. അതും കൂടിയുണ്ട്. അപ്പൊ ഇപ്പൊ ഒരു ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ സ്ട്രക്ചർ ആയി. ഇൻ ദിസ് പ്രോസസ്, മാനേജർ ആക്ച്വലി വാട്ട് ഹി ഡസ്, he actually finds out the activities. He grouped it into various departments depending upon the similar activities. He has designed the designations, posts, and everything. He has found out what all are the duties of a production manager, what all are the duties of a marketing manager. Authority is fixed, responsibility is fixed, the superior subordinate relationship fixed. CEO is the superior of production manager. So production manager is the subordinate of CEO in the diagram. Okay, so next slide is talking about staffing. So we have made the plans, budgets, schedules, policies, and everything we have set. And we have found out what are the activities which are needed for the accomplishment of the organizational objectives. Now we need people to do all these things, the duties, the activities, the positions to be filled with people. So staffing is related with human resources of enterprise. The first point, it is concerned with the human resources of the enterprise. Next is, it is concerned with acquiring, developing, and maintaining human resources. Okay, so we have positions kept ready in organizing function. Now we need people to fill all the jobs, to do all the activities, and it is the responsibility of a crucial department in the business organization called, the last point, see, done by personnel department, or we can also call them human resource department. So this department is in charge of finding out the quality people to actually accomplish the organizational objectives. So personnel department will be doing all these functions. Acquiring people. Acquiring people means the right people with the right skill set at the right time, at the right position. Okay, Yes. So qualified people have to be acquired. They have to be developed. Developed in the sense by giving training. They will be developed. Their knowledge will be developed. Their skill will be developed. Their abilities, their capabilities will be developed. And after that, the qualified people should be retained in the business organization. The people with right skill set should be maintained or retained. So human resource manager has to actually manage with the support of all the human resource executives under him, has to retain the right people with right skill set, so that organizational objectives can be accomplished. It is a process of matching jobs with individuals and ensure that right people at the right job at the right time has been made. So we have actually found out the jobs and activities. Now we have to match whoever is selected by staffing function. We will be matching the employees with the jobs and will be placed in those designations. So under staffing, these are the important functions. That is manpower planning. Manpower planning, in other words, it is known as human resource planning. That is, the human resource department will be actually finding out what is the number of employees required in this organization to do the available jobs in an organization. Okay, in an ongoing concern, the team leaders will be giving the number. In my team, this many number of employees are required for the next year. So the next team leader will be telling his requirements. So depending upon the requirements in the case of a new business organization, HR department has to plan what is the adequate number of people required to do all the functions or duties and activities which are found out in the organizing function. Next is recruitment. Recruitment is actually when after manpower planning, the HR department might have identified the number of employees required to achieve the organizational objectives. After that, they have to encourage the people to apply for these jobs. So they will be giving in newspapers, sometimes they will be going to educational institutions and will be actually contacting the placement cell officer of your educational institutions. Okay, and will be encouraging you to apply for jobs through advertisements. After that, the adequate people, the qualified people will be selected. So selection is a negative process where out of the application received through recruitment, they will be actually sorting out as suitable candidates, and the suitable candidates, the right people with the right skill set will be placed. That is what is placement is. They will be placed in the respective job. And after placing the employees who are selected to the concerned jobs, what has to be done? Training should be provided. Okay, once we appoint an employee, we should not tell him that, yes, you are appointed, start doing work. We have to give him ട്രെയിനിങ്. നന്നായിട്ട് ട്രെയിൻ ചെയ്യണം. ആ ജോലി എങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യേണ്ടതെന്ന് നന്നായിട്ട് പഠിപ്പിക്കണം. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞിട്ട് മാത്രമേ ഇയാൾക്ക് പണി ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് പറ്റുള്ളൂ. So training has to be given to actually increase or develop the knowledge, the skill, the aptitude, the abilities and capabilities of the employees to do a particular job organization. And after that, it is the staffing function which does appraisal, performance appraisal of employees, which is done by the superiors. The performance of the subordinates will be appraised. Appraised in the sense, evaluation of the performance of the employees is done through performance appraisal. So based on the performance appraisal, we know how these employees are performing. So if the employees are performing very well, they will be given promotion. See, promotion and transfer is also given. Transfer. What is the difference between promotion and transfer? Promotion means shifting a person from one position to another. That is, shifting a person from a lower level to a higher level. Position is a bit higher with more salary, with more compensation, perks, prestige and everything. Transfer means shifting a person from one place to another. So there is actually shifting and at the same level. Promotion is actually from a lower level to a higher level. So depending upon the appraisal, some employees will be demoted as well. Lower levels lekkum avare demote cheyanum chance undu. Appo adokkeyana staffing function vadi nadakkunnathu. And compensation, salary should be fixed for all the employees. All these functions are done by the personal department or human resource department. So these are the functions of personnel department, and it comes under staffing function or manning the organization, or it is concerned with the people, which is the most important resource of the or factors of production labor. Now, in the next slide, we talk about the next function of management, which is directing. So we made plans, we organized, we found out the activities to be performed, we actually designed the jobs to be performed, and we actually placed the employees to do the particular work. And now, the managers have to consider that it is not that you entrust a person with particular activities. You have to see that it is done and it is directed towards organizational objectives. So directing is nothing but the first point, telling people what to do and see that it is done in the best manner possible. So, the manager has to give instructions and orders from time to time how it has to be done. So we have found out that this is the destination in planning. And after that, through directing, as the diagram shows or the picture shows in the slide, actually the manager is showing the right path, the right route. You have to actually perform your activities in this direction. If they are going out of control, then manager will be coming and saying that you have to perform in this way. So the manager has to show the right path or the right route. And it is also known as commanding. So manager at some point of time, he has to command to get things done, or actuating in the sense causing an action, causing a particular action. So manager actually do his level best to actually direct the efforts of the organization towards the organizational goals. And he issues orders and instructions from time to time. So in directing function, you can see the last point, LCMSC. That is, L stands for leadership, C stands for communication, M stands for motivation, S stands for supervision, and C stands for coordination. L, leadership, C, communication, M, motivation, S, supervision, C for coordination. So we are coming to the third point, issuing orders and instructions and communicating with employees. So issuing orders and instructions means communication. It talks about the communication element of the directing. Okay, the manager has to communicate what has to be done. He has to issue orders. Communication means exchange of information from one person to another. It can be upward or downward. Here, in directing, it is talking about the downward communication, that the managers will be communicating and issuing the orders and instructions from time to time to the subordinates. And supervising people at work. Supervising means overseeing. That is, directing is means it is the process of supervising or overseeing or guiding or directing and motivating people at work. So when they are doing their work, he has to supervise and oversee. The supervisor will be roaming around in the factory to see how well they are performing. And if the supervisors are all around roaming, the employees will be actually actively participating in work to at least show off the manager. So supervisor has to see that by supervising people at work, people do the work in the right direction. And he provides proper motivation. Motivation is an element which actually urges or which causes the employees to do a particular job. Okay, so the manager should actually inspire or encourage the employees to do the activities by their own. That is, managers have to motivate them, inspire them, encourage them. So there are positive motivation and negative motivation. Positive motivation sense by giving rewards, by giving more salary, etc. Negative motivation, to some employees, negative motivation works. The threat that your salary will be cut. Okay, you will be demoted. താഴെ ലെവലിലേക്ക് നിന്നെ ഡിമോട്ട് ചെയ്യും എന്നൊക്കെ പറയുവാണെങ്കിൽ ചിലവർ പേടിച്ചത് ചെയ്യും. സോ ഇറ്റ് ക്യാൻ ബി പോസിറ്റീവ് ആൻഡ് നെഗറ്റീവ് കൈൻഡ് ഓഫ് മോട്ടിവേഷൻ. ഏത് വേയിൽ കൂടെ ആണെങ്കിലും മാനേജർ ഷുഡ് ഇൻസ്പയർ ആൻഡ് എൻകറേജ് ദ പീപ്പിൾ to do the respective work, to get things done. ഏത് സ്ട്രാറ്റജി വേണമെങ്കിൽ അഡോപ്റ്റ് ചെയ്യാം, പക്ഷേ ഡയറക്റ്റ് ചെയ്യുക ഓർഗനൈസേഷണൽ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ്സ് സാറ്റിസ്ഫൈ ചെയ്യുന്ന രീതിയിൽ. Next is ability to command. It's talking about leadership, ability to influence the behavior of the employees. That is, managers have to act like leaders. They have to command people, and a good leader will influence the followers. Definitely, if the leader is good, if the subordinates think that the leader knows everything and he is doing everything in the right way, those subordinates will also be influenced by the behavior of the leaders. So, ability to command people and influence the behavior of the employees, it's talking about leadership. And next comes so supervision, we have talked, communication, we have talked, leadership, we have talked about, and motivation, last C is all about coordination. Coordination in the sense, in an organization, there will be lot of processes, lot of levels, lot of departments. Each department, functional departments like production department, marketing department, finance department, all these departments will be undertaking different types of activities, but these activities should be coordinated in a way. Okay, so finance department will be actually giving fund to all other departments. So there has to be a coordination between the finance department and the production department. So all the activities of all the departments has to be coordinated or synchronized or unified so that it is directed towards the accomplishment of the organizational objectives. So coordination has to be there. So coordination means synchronizing or unifying all the activities, different types of activities in a big organization in all the departments, but all the departments should be well coordinated. Okay, that is why CEO or the top level managers will be calling all the departmental heads and will be having meetings to ensure that there is coordination between all the departments. Okay, and directing is also a continuous process at all levels. Okay, it has to be continued till the end. Everywhere there is directing. Next comes the last function, which is controlling. So controlling is verifying that everything occurs in conformity with the plan and instructions given. So in the planning phase, we have set up certain plans or standards of performance for the employees. Now, in controlling, we have to verify whether actual performance is up to the standards. Are all the employees doing their work according to the instructions given? That is what is controlling. So if the actual performance is not up to the mark or not up to the standard, definitely what is the reason for the variation? So it has to be found out, and the variation actually we have to take adequate measures to actually rule out this variation and come out with good results again. Then it regulates the activities of a concern to obtain expected results. That is, whatever the standards or budgets we have set, the actual performance has to be compared whether it is according to the standard set. So verifying the actual or matching the actual performance with the standards. If the actual performance is much better than the standards, manager has to try to reinforce it. Continue that. You have to motivate the employees. ഇതുപോലെ തന്നെ തുടരുക, വളരെ നന്നായിട്ടാണ് നിങ്ങൾ ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞ് reinforce it. Okay, so rectifying the variation. So if the actual performance is not up to the mark compared to the standards, എന്തുകൊണ്ടാണ് ഈ വ്യത്യാസം വന്നേക്കുന്നതെന്ന് അനലൈസ് ചെയ്ത് അത് തിരുത്താനായിട്ട് നോക്കണം. So remedial measures are to be undertaken. So now we come to the steps in controlling. That is establishment of standards, measurement of actual performance, comparison of actual and standard performance, analysis of deviations, and taking remedial measures. These are the steps in controlling, and you may be getting this for your examinations, most probably. Okay, so first one is establishing standards. That is, this step in controlling, planning and controlling is very related, because establishment of standards, the first element in controlling, it is done in planning. Okay, the standards have been established, the budgets have been prepared, the schedules have been prepared. After that, measurement of actual performance. For a new bank, actually, their target will be, we have to acquire 10,000 customers. We have to acquire 10,000 customers. That may be the target set. Okay, So after some time, so it is a target for 3 months. We have to actually acquire 10,000 customers. And after 3 months, definitely the manager will be analyzing whether the employees have acquired or the bank has acquired 10,000 customers. Okay, so if it is only 8,000 customers, then definitely there is a difference of 2,000, there is a variation. Standard or target was set as 10,000 customers, but only 8,000 customers so far. So what is the variation? 2,000. So what is actually the reason for that variation? Is it because that employees are not trying their level best to market or find out customers, or it is due to any defect in our marketing strategy or service? What is the reason? So we have to find out what is the reason for this deviation and taking remedial measures. Then manager has to tell that have to call a meeting of all the employees and say that you should actually involved in more marketing so that we will be getting more customers in future. So taking remedial actions. So sometimes we feel that if actually the actual performance is much more than the standard, so it does not end controlling. Again, we have to do controlling in the sense that so there is something wrong with the standard set. We have underestimated the performance of the employees. Okay, so in this case of example, like in this case, the manager has set a target of 10,000 customers, acquiring 10,000 customers, and in this example, this bank has acquired 12,000 customers. 12,000 customers. That means manager had a defect in setting up the standard. He underestimated his employees. His employees were actually trying really hard to find out customers. Their performance is very well. Their customer service is very well. So through word of mouth, they got a lot of customers. So manager has to understand that there is some defect in the establishment of standards and he has to revise the standards. So I have undervalued my system or the organization or my bank or the employees. My employees are capable of actually getting more customers. So standard will be reset like that. Okay, and we will ensure that this performance is reinforced and continued for a long period of time. So that is what is controlling. So controlling and planning is related in the sense establishment of standard, which is the first step in controlling, is actually related to planning. Okay. So that is the last function of management. So we have seen 5 functions of management, that is planning, organizing, staffing, directing, and controlling. And these functions are universal in nature. You can even apply in your individual life or in business organization. When we talk about the concept of management here in our subject, we are talking about the aspect of management of business organization, and it can be applied in all the business organization irrespective of their nature and size. Okay, thank you all.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, there are some doubts from our participants.
Okay.
Okay. Muhammad Amin ചോദിച്ചിരിക്കുന്നത് why management is intangible force എന്നാണ്.
ഇൻടാജിബിൾ ഫോഴ്സ് എന്നുള്ള സംശയമുണ്ട് അല്ലെ? മാനേജ്മെന്റ് എന്നുള്ള കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് നമ്മൾ നോക്കുമ്പോൾ അത് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. മാനേജേഴ്സിനെ കാണാം നമുക്ക്, മാനേജേഴ്സിനെ കാണാം, ആ റിസൾട്ട്സ് എല്ലാം നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവും. പക്ഷെ മാനേജ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്ന ആ ഒരു കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് അത് ഇൻടാഞ്ചിബിൾ ആണ്, നമുക്ക് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല, ഇൻവിസിബിൾ ആണ്. പക്ഷേ അതിന്റെ ഇഫക്റ്റ് നമുക്ക് മനസ്സിലാവുന്നത് എപ്പോഴാണ്? പ്രോഫിറ്റ് കാണുമ്പോ. നല്ലോണം പ്രോഫിറ്റ് ഉണ്ടാക്കുന്ന ഒരു ബിസിനസ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ആണെങ്കിൽ നമുക്ക് പറയാം മാനേജ്മെന്റ്, ഗുഡ് മാനേജ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയാം അല്ലെ? ദിസ് ഓർഗനൈസേഷൻ ഹാസ് ബീൻ വെൽ മാനേജ്ഡ് എന്ന് പറയാം. ഓക്കെ, പക്ഷെ പ്രോഫിറ്റ് കുറഞ്ഞു, പ്രൊഡക്ടിവിറ്റി കുറഞ്ഞു, അപ്പൊ നമുക്ക് പറയാം ബാഡ് മാനേജ്മെന്റ്. ഓക്കെ, മാനേജ്മെന്റ് എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇൻവിൻസിബിൾ ഫോഴ്സ് ആണ്, അത് കാണാൻ പറ്റുന്നില്ല. മാനേജേഴ്സിനെ കാണാമായിരിക്കാം, പക്ഷെ അവർ ചെയ്യുന്ന കാര്യങ്ങളെല്ലാം നമുക്ക് അതിന്റെ പ്രസൻസ് നമുക്ക് ഫീൽ ചെയ്യുന്ന അതിന്റെ എൻഡ് റിസൾട്ട്സിലൂടെയാണ്. അപ്പൊ ആസ് എ കോൺസെപ്റ്റ് ഇറ്റ് ഈസ് ആൻ ഇൻവിസിബിൾ ഓർ ഇൻടാഞ്ചിബിൾ ഫോഴ്സ് എന്ന് പറയാൻ കാര്യം ഇറ്റ് ഡ്രൈവ്സ് ഓൾ ദ അതർ എലമെന്റ്സ് ഇൻ ടു ആക്ഷൻ.
മാം നെക്സ്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് ഒരു ചോദ്യം ഉള്ളത് എന്താന്ന് വെച്ച് കഴിഞ്ഞാൽ വാട്ട് വിൽ ബി ദ എഫക്ട് ഓഫ് നെഗറ്റീവ് മോട്ടിവേഷൻ ഇൻ ലോങ് റൺ ആണ്.
അത് നമ്മള് മാനേജേഴ്സ് ഞാൻ പറയാം അവര് ഭയങ്കര ടാക്ടിക്സ് ഉള്ളവരായിരിക്കണം. ചില എംപ്ലോയീസ് ഉണ്ട്, അതായത് നമുക്ക് ഈ മോട്ടിവേഷണൽ തിയറി തന്നെ തിയറി എക്സും തിയറി വൈയും നിങ്ങൾ പഠിച്ചിട്ടുണ്ടാവും. ഓക്കെ, തിയറി എക്സ് പറയുന്നത് എന്താണ്? ചില എംപ്ലോയീസ് വളരെ ലേസി ആയിരിക്കും കേട്ടോ. അപ്പൊ അവർക്ക് അവരെങ്ങനെയാന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ പൊതുവെ ലേസി ആയിട്ടുള്ള ആൾക്കാരായിരിക്കും. ഓഫീസിൽ വന്ന് അവർക്ക് ജോലി എടുക്കാൻ മടിയാണ്, അങ്ങനെയില്ല. പക്ഷെ പല പ്രാവശ്യം നമ്മൾ ആസ് എ മാനേജർ നമ്മൾ നല്ല രീതിയിലൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞു നോക്കും. ഓക്കെ, ചിലവർ അതോടുകൂടെ നന്നാവും. അപ്പൊ ആക്ച്വലി മാനേജർ വിൽ ഫീൽ പോസിറ്റീവ് മോട്ടിവേഷൻ ആണ്. നമുക്ക് നന്നായിട്ട് പെർഫോം ചെയ്യുന്നവര് മതി ഓർഗനൈസേഷനിൽ. ഇപ്പൊ എല്ലാ ഓർഗനൈസേഷനിലും ഹയർ ആൻഡ് ഫയർ റൂൾസ് ആണ്. അതായത് ക്വാളിഫൈഡ് അല്ല, ഉഴപ്പന്മാരെ ആർക്കും വേണ്ട. കാര്യം ഓർഗനൈസേഷണൽ ഒബ്ജക്റ്റീവ്സ് നമുക്ക് അച്ചീവ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടതാണ്. ഒരു മാനേജറിന് വളരെയധികം പ്രഷർ ഉണ്ട്. ഓക്കെ, അങ്ങനെ അൺക്വാളിഫൈഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ളവരെ വേണ്ട. അപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ആദ്യം നല്ല വാക്കിൽ പറഞ്ഞു നോക്കാം. അത് കഴിഞ്ഞ് അത് പറ്റിയില്ല, അങ്ങനെ ലേസി ആയിട്ടുള്ള ഒരാളെ ചില സമയത്ത് പേടിപ്പിച്ചാലേ ചിലപ്പോൾ നടക്കുകയുള്ളൂ. ഇപ്പൊ ടീച്ചേഴ്സ് തന്നെ ക്ലാസ്സിൽ അതായത് അൺറൂളി ആയിട്ടുള്ള കുട്ടികളെ നന്നായിട്ടൊക്കെ ആദ്യം ഒന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു നോക്കും. അവര് നന്നായില്ലെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഒന്ന് വഴക്ക് പറഞ്ഞു നോക്കും. ചിലവർക്ക് നെഗറ്റീവ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള മോട്ടിവേഷനെ കൊടുക്കാവുള്ളൂ. അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് ലോങ് റണ്ണില് നമുക്ക് നല്ല എംപ്ലോയീസും പറഞ്ഞാൽ കേൾക്കുന്ന എംപ്ലോയീസും അങ്ങനെ സെൽഫ് മോട്ടിവേറ്റഡ് ആയിട്ടുള്ള എംപ്ലോയീസിനെ ആണ് ഇപ്പൊ ഓർഗനൈസേഷനിൽ ആവശ്യം. ഇറ്റ്സ് ഓൾ അബൌട്ട് കോമ്പറ്റീഷൻ. സോ വി വോണ്ട് ഓൺലി സെൽഫ് ഡ്രിവൻ മോട്ടിവേറ്റഡ് എംപ്ലോയീസ്. ചിലവർക്ക് ഈ നെഗറ്റീവ് മോട്ടിവേഷനെ വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ. ഒന്ന് ശകാരിച്ചോ അല്ലെങ്കിൽ സാലറി കട്ട് ചെയ്യൂ എന്നൊക്കെ പറഞ്ഞാൽ മാത്രം ചിലവർ പേടിച്ച് ജോലി ചെയ്യുള്ളൂ. അങ്ങനത്തെ എംപ്ലോയീസ് വളരെയധികം ഉണ്ട് ഓർഗനൈസേഷനിൽ.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, so we don't have any more doubts.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you, ma'am, for providing a wide insight on management's objective, nature, and all the topics that you have discussed today. Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
And thank you, participants. I hope all of you got a clear-cut idea about this topic. And some of the participants have reported that they have missed some session due to net connectivity issue. So for them, you can watch this session again through ASAP YouTube channel. So once again, thank you, ma'am. Thank you all. Have a nice day.
Thank you very much to all.